Hi, I'm Tom Brandt here with PC Mag, and we've got the Dell Latitude rugged tablet. It's the Latitude 7212 rugged tablet, which you might see being carried by a paramedic or something like that, but what you may not know is that this is also used on the Clipper Round the World sailing race. And I've got William here from the Clipper Round the World sailing race, and we were wondering if you can tell us a little bit about how the competitors use this to navigate as they're hoping to win this race.
Sure. Well, I mean, a little bit about the race, just to sort of paint a picture of why it's so successful in the race, is that so round the world race, 40,000 miles in all sorts of conditions. Down below, humidity is 100% pretty much all the time. You can't have windows open, the boat's heeled over, waves coming over. So sort of paint a picture of some of the things far beyond any of the tests that I've seen.
Basically like this as it's showing right here.
Like this, there's two of those. There's one, and it's the heart of the boat, because without it we don't get weather. So from a safety point of view, we don't get to talk back to home, media pictures. So everything that we do is reliant on computers. And I have to say, when they said they'd got something that was unbreakable, I was skeptical, because for 23 years I've run Clipper. I have bought and thrown away so many laptops and PCs, I cannot tell you. And we've had them built in, we've had them so-called ruggedized, etc., etc. And we've never had one yet that has worked long term. And so when this came along, we partnered up with Dell, and it does exactly what they say it will do. I mean, it hasn't let us down. We're so reliant on it, all our communications, weather warnings, as I say, and it works.
So basically, the competitors on the boat are receiving alerts from weather services, from they can check winds, things like that. And where do they typically use it? Is it? So
we have two. So one's on a navigation system, navigation stand, and that stays pretty much where it is. And so that's used really for the heart of running the actual boat, all the communications, etc. And then we have another one for the media, and that's used by the crew, and they can take that. So they're on deck. There's a picture of one sitting on deck using it, and then a wave comes over them. And then that's packed up. I doubt they cleared it up, packed up, put down below, 100% humidity, open it up again, and then so it might be moved off a bunk. The boat's keeled over at 45 degrees, and then suddenly it rights itself, the computer goes shooting off. Normally that's a new computer. And pretty much every race was like that. Every boat, constantly repairing them, constantly. They were coming back right, left and centre. And the guarantee is going, look, this isn't had normal use. Yeah, it might only be 2 months old, but it is, what have you done with it?
Yeah.
And so every time, and they know. And once that lets you down, if the crew, because it's amateur crew, so they're paying to be on there, they want to keep in touch, they have a certain amount of time that they can communicate with their families. If they can't communicate with their families, that morale goes down. So the whole thing, it's sort of, you don't realise how good things are until you don't get the complaints.
Sure.
You're sort of ready for the complaints, they don't happen. There's always something going wrong on a boat, because that's the nature of the sea.
And I've actually used this tablet in the rain. This is spitting rain, not like on a boat. It worked great like that, mainly because in addition to touching it, you can also use the stylus, which I assume is also something that, the stylus here, which is hardwired into the system, which seems to be great.
I mean, from the technical side of things, I don't use one. I'm not on the boat. But from all the reports back is that it's a real win. So yes, I mean it hasn't let us down, and that's the key to everything.
And now we also have Craig here from Dell. Why did you guys want to put this on the Clipper boats?
Yeah. So there's really two things. The first one is, this is what these products are designed to do, right? Harshest conditions, mission critical operations, and as William was just talking about, when they're out in the middle of the ocean, this is driving, weather reports and their navigation critical to what they're doing. It just can't fail. So it's really a perfect fit, and it's about as harsh as the conditions can get. So it's actually a great test for our products. And then in addition to that, just purely from a Dell perspective, they're traveling all over the world. They've got stops all over the world. and it's good exposure. So it's really it's a great partnership.
So how long is the race?
11 months.
It's 11 months, and it starts where and ends
Starts
where?
in the UK. First stop is Uruguay, South Africa, Australia. A couple of stops in China, across the North Pacific to Seattle, Panama, New York. Next stop is Ireland, and then we finish in Liverpool in England on the 28th of July.
So it really is a round trip around the world.
Absolutely, yeah. 40-odd thousand miles, 40 different nationalities, 40% female. So it's a real mixed bag from 18 to 70 years old.
Yeah, and it almost strikes me, in 11 months, you're probably going to be using this rugged tablet, and then a new rugged tablet is going to come out the next year. We see tons of certainly tons of Windows tablets at PC Mag, and they come out with some frequency, but this one, I really like this one a lot. This is actually our editor's choice for best rugged tablet. It's not the type of thing, though, that unless you're like a sailor on a boat or a paramedic, that you're not really going to be going out and buying one of these for yourself. Or is that the case?
Well, typically you're going to use them in applications where there's risk of drops, really high or low temperatures. Maybe think about a manufacturing floor. An oil and gas field services person going out into the oil fields, things of that nature where dirty, damp, hot, cold, things like that, lots of vibration.
So how much heat can this thing withstand? Like, what's the temperature range?
So it's rated up to 120 degrees Fahrenheit and down to 20 degrees.
And that's, you can use it in 120
degrees. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the range that we test for operational capability, where you're not going to lose significant performance. We actually, when we test these products, we don't just test to the spec, the military standard spec. We actually test to failure. So what that means is, we break it, and then we take it apart, look at what happened, why did it break, and then we feed that back into the development process.
Okay. So I have to ask, William. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just saying about you're saying about the market there, and the sailing market is absolutely huge. And I know so many recreational sailors that have a 30, 40, 50-foot boat that pull their laptop out, take it onto the boat, and it gets wrecked. It falls off, it slides off. They're just not in that environment where you're like this all the time. And so you put it down as you would normally do. You're in the dock. You're looking at your weather, looking at your route. You pretty much know where you're going, just going for a day sail locally. And then you go out there, the boat goes like that. The first thing is that your cup of coffee that you put down, that's crashed. The second thing is your laptop. So, there is a market for this if it's pushed in the marine trade.
So
not just for adventure stuff, but just for general use.
And could this, for a day sail, could this replace like a radio and a plotter or something, or is this a secondary thing?
You could certainly have your plotter on there.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's what we do. So all of our charts run, even
so
down
the
to the
on
everything. Yeah. So all the charts worldwide electronic, and they all come through this. Hence, if you get to somewhere and it doesn't work, especially nowadays, because it's now got to the stage where you don't have to have paper charts anymore. So you are reliant on getting that information. You can't get to the mouth of somewhere that has sandbanks and things like that, and suddenly it goes blank. That was serious.
Yeah, that's the danger. Like a paper chart, the only thing that can happen with that is it gets wet. This really needs to function,
We've even had somebody injured on the boat, and we have a telemed, 24-hour telemed, where we contact them and advice and things like that. And they've even sent diagrams how to set a bone on it. So it's all those sort of things. It's things that you don't. You would do it on any other PC if it's working, but if it doesn't work on that particular day, then you have a problem.
Right. Now, my ultimate question, though, with the Clip Around the World race is: has anyone ever dropped one of these overboard? That you know of, and did they get it back if they did?
No, and I think if they drop one overboard, the thing is they definitely don't float. They're
float.
pretty heavy, so
Okay.
And I think that would be pushing it too much. Yeah, we'd have to put something really big round
So
it.
here's an
We could have it its own little life raft.
Yeah, I was going to say. So here's an opportunity for all of any of you out there who want to make some accessories for this thing. Build a little mini life raft for this that automatically inflates once the thing hits the water, and then it's really indestructible. Well, thanks very much, William, for talking to me. Thanks very much, Craig. Again, this is the Latitude 7212 rugged tablet from Dell. Great great machine, and obviously it's working well in the race. Thanks very much, guys, for talking with us.
Sure, pleasure.